No matter how the cachet of the WNBA elevates, remember, it could have been even better. You messed it up.
It's possible that Caitlin Clark received an offer from Europe that would permanently alter the WNBA.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
The WNBA is moving quickly as Caitlin Clark's move to Europe seems more and more realistic. Perhaps you should consider. Right now, be a little more polite to your enormous celebrity. Caitlin would be a huge disaster for the WNBA. And who would watch without CC?
She will do her best. I know she's talented, but she's not strong enough and she doesn't have enough experience right now to compete at this.
These are the individuals Caitlin had to deal with the WNBA, and you are unskilled and unable to manage it. During the entire season, and look what happened, she blew her way through shattered WNBA regulations, leaving it in rubble. Records as if tomorrow didn't exist.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from...
These analysts left Caitlin with little option. She needs a new beginning in a league that genuinely values its best players. And prevents them from being singled out. It's enough that people are always hostile to her.
Look at what the NBA became. Even when Jordan was ascending and the league clearly saw that that was the dude, and Nike was marketing the living hell out of Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. It was still burden, man.
Despite appearing prepared, Caitlin Clark apparently received a terrific contract offer to play in Europe. To acknowledge that there is more to the tale. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has faced many challenges. Despite all the respect, attention, and indisputable impact she has had on the sport, these challenges include the league's inability to adequately protect its best players from the lack of qualified assistants. On the field, these challenges have resulted in what might be one of the most surprising career decisions we have ever seen. Caitlin is now making the decision to leave the WNBA due to a number of frustrations. She's had enough of the treatment she's received there. The ramifications from this could rattle the WNBA to its core. Her leaving, the decision made by Caitlin Clark to leave the WNBA and move to Europe, was obviously sufficient. Clark hasn't always received the deference and respect that a talent of her caliber merits from the WNBA. We've frequently witnessed opposing athletes get away with using excessive force when defending. Clark, who often goes too far in his aggressive and sometimes dangerous play. It appears that the league has permitted these tactics to continue, whether due to the court's lack of protection, the league's apparent indifference, or other players' continuous targeting.
We're making a basketball argument. We're making a basketball argument.
We're not saying
No, Andrea, I'm not going to let you do that.
Go ahead,
Andrea, I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
No, it wasn't a handout.
Look at her numbers. Look at her numbers comparable to the other guards that were on the team. That's all I'm saying.
You could even argue that because the WNBA is aware of the attention that Clark's presence on the court generates and increases viewership, they have allowed this behavior to persist. Caitlin believes that the absence of, after all, a little controversy gets people talking, but protection has gone too far. Even if not much has changed, fans have noticed that her supporters' social media outcry, which has been demanding more fairness, safety, and reverence for their preferred athlete, the league didn't seem to care enough to make the necessary modifications, making Clark feel deserted.
Watching women's basketball right now, it all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize.
And Caitlin Clark is finally making amends after suffering season after season of harsh treatment and targeting. Focus on her supporters. She has had enough and has made the decision to take charge of her career by quitting the WNBA. Of the league's lack of concern, Clark wants to start a new chapter in her life with her exceptional talent. Enthusiasm and influence on the game can be recognized as they have long been. Let's now discuss the consequences. The WNBA is about to see a significant slump, and their failure is the only reason for this. To acknowledge Caitlin Clark's vital contribution to the league's accomplishments, the WNBA would suffer right away. Without Clark, both monetarily and in terms of viewership, every time Caitlin Clark played on the court, everyone watched her. Because she was a big draw for the league, whether they were basketball fans or just casual observers. Admirers. Clark Caitlin.
Fact that she was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. The Indiana Fever was turning away games into home.
The WNBA now bears the massive responsibility of filling the void left by her departure. Even so, there are other talented. Let's face it, athletes in the league like DJ Carrington and Angel Ree lack Clark's strength and individuality. This is not to downplay their talent, they are both amazing athletes, but Caitlin Clark was performing at a much different level. Her daring shooting ability to dominate wasn't the only reason why people were captivated to the WNBA. Games and her fierce competitiveness, which made her an athlete to watch. She was more than just a performer. Emotion. The WNBA is only now recognizing the millions of dollars that Caitlin Clark's passing would cost. Of dollars in revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, TV contracts, and sponsorships, everything will be quite expensive. Even worse, it was all avoidable. The league had every opportunity to shield Caitlin from harm on the court, give her the assistance she needed, and treat her with the deference she was due as the league's spokesperson, but they failed to do so.
Class A viewership, which is up 400% to 40%. Between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%. Between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%. What Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days.
They will now have to pay for letting problems worsen. The departure of Caitlin is a pivotal moment that could have disastrous repercussions for the WNBA's future, since they will soon learn how much they lost. What specifically has Caitlin Clark in Europe been assured? Anyone would be stopped in their tracks by the astounding sums being flung around. Numerous reports assert that the contract she has been promised is far bigger than any that the WNBA has ever given out in the EuroLeague, where gamers receive royal treatment. For Caitlin, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. She decided to relocate overseas because she would be able to earn a lot more money and play fewer games, giving her more time to unwind, recuperate, and provide her best effort.
Would be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the big.
They are giving Caitlin the opportunity to represent the league as a player by simply offering her a contract. Imagine thousands of supporters screaming as Caitlin enters the court and the lights go off. She takes a deep three. As she makes a deep three, every fan roar echoes across the stadium. And you can feel the energy in those crowded arenas, but it's different this time. Of being aware of this, the EuroLeague is ready to treat her like a worldwide celebrity and use her as a brand spokeswoman.
How's it feel? Do you care?
Not only is Europe providing Caitlin with a fresh opportunity to rule, but it's also about elevating her to the largest basketball player in the world, with arena crowds full of loyal supporters who applaud and value each. She makes a move. Europe is prepared to ensure that Caitlin Clark shines brighter than ever as she prepares to embrace a new age of glory. Previously, but she's not the only one making significant strides. More WNBA players are beginning to pursue the same route, to investigate more favorable options. For instance, Alyssa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell have chosen to perform in China, while Caitlin is supposedly visiting Europe during their off-season. As WNBA athletes come to understand that playing, they are gradually accepting the fact that working abroad not only gives far greater compensation but also generally better care. This pattern. In terms of experience, the WNBA's pay scale simply cannot match that of other international leagues, both reward and quality.
All of this comes together and you need a star. And she is the.
When making the choice, players like Nalissa and Caitlin Kelsey are realizing the benefits of playing less games, getting more sleep, and earning more money. When you consider the schedules, pay, and player care provided abroad, playing internationally is practically a no-brainer. Given all of this, it's understandable that more athletes are taking this route. According to Jason Whitlock, Caitlin should be the focal point of an unparalleled league where the greatest players battle against one another in the WNBA's off-break. As a result, athletes like Alyssa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell wouldn't have to fly overseas. Instead, they can earn their wages in America, where there is an unparalleled league full of talented athletes. More opportunity, and they will be able to capitalize on the women's game's growing skill. We have some amazing prospects, but they won't get paid what they are due. Instead, they will have to make their own money through sponsorships, but this unparalleled league concept offers a completely new range of options. This change should be a major wake-up call for the Women's Basketball League and Caitlin Clark. at the risk of losing additional elite players in addition to Caitlin Clark if the WNBA doesn't take action and reconsider how they pay and handle their athletes. It is clear that players no longer have to accept less, and the WNBA wants to stop an even greater talent exodus. When foreign leagues are prepared to provide them so much more in the future, they will have to re-evaluate their priorities. To watch more videos right now, please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this one.